King Henry VIII wives. Catherine of Aragon. Catherine was born December 16, 1485. She married King Henry's brother, Prince Arthur, on November 14, 1501, but he died shortly after, so she married King Henry VIII on June 11, 1509. She tried to have a child so that Henry could have an heir, but child after child died. Only one, Mary, survived. Henry was getting very frustrated with Catherine's lack of male heir, and he had also fallen in love with another girl, Anne Boleyn, so he asked the Pope for an annulment. The annulment was rejected, so Henry created the Church of England, allowing him to divorce Catherine. Catherine had to leave her daughter with Henry and spent the rest of her days in dirty and unhealthy manners until she died a lonely death on January 7, 1536. Anne Boleyn. Anne was born between 1500 and 1509. She had many love affairs, but only married King Henry VIII. Henry hated to write, but he was so passionate to her that he wrote her love letters anyways. She became pregnant at the end of 1532 and then was secretly married in January of 1533. On September 7, 1533, her daughter Elizabeth was born. Anne could not produce any more children for Henry, just like the preceding wife. The king was beginning to like Jane Seymour as well. The court members plotted against Anne and had her arrested for adultery, incest, and plot to kill the king. She was found guilty because the king no longer really supported her anymore. Knowing that she was going to die, Anne became absolutely hysterical, especially after her marriage to King Henry was proclaimed invalid. She was executed on May 19, 1536. Jane Seymour. Jane was born between 1508 and 1509. In 1536, Henry fell in love with her, but Jane was a bit scared, considering his last two wives had been killed and divorced. Just a day after Anne Boleyn's execution, they were betrothed, however. They were married on May 30th, 1536. Finally, someone was able to produce Henry a male son, Edward, on October 15th, 1537. Henry called Jane his first true wife. Week from childbirth, Jane died on October 24th, 1537. Anne of Cleves. Anne was born September 22nd, 1515. She was married only for political alliances on January 6, 1540. By the time they were married, Henry was already looking for a way to get out of the marriage. The marriage dissolved in July of 1540. Catherine Howard. Catherine was born around 1521. She was the cousin of Anne Boleyn and the lady-in-waiting for Anne of Cleves, which is how Henry met her. Only 16 days after he divorced Anne of Cleves, he married Catherine on July 28, 1540. While Henry was 49 years old, Catherine was only 19. Catherine brought spirit back to Henry, who had gained weight and had an ailing leg. Rumors that Catherine had shown infidelity to Henry spread. Henry researched the rumors and found them to be true. Catherine Howard was executed and buried with her cousin Anne Boleyn on February 13, 1542. Catherine Parr. Catherine was born in 1512. She was actually named after Catherine of Aragon, Henry's first wife. Her first marriage was in 1529 with Edward Burrough, who died in 1531. Her second marriage was with John Neville in 1543. She married Henry on July 12, 1543. In 1546, people began to plot against her, but were caught by a friend and swiftly stopped. Henry died on January 1547, leaving Catherine in charge. She remarried very soon to Thomas Seymour, the brother of Jane Seymour. On August 30th, 1548, Catherine had a daughter, Mary. Soon, though, Catherine got perpetual fever, which killed her on September 5th, 1548. Catherine of Aragon, Anne Boleyn, Jane Seymour, Anne of Cleves, Catherine Howard, Catherine Parr,